Thank you so much, Professor Thomas, and thank you to the speakers who went before me. I don't know what really I can add, especially after Ambassador Manjeev Puri, say Shadri Chari, and Aruna Sharma have all spoken. But let me just, I'll just speak very briefly just about not so much aspirations and hopes, but I think from my perspective about some concerns. In terms of the title of this webinar as well. I mean, this is not the first time India has been on the Security Council. It is not the first time India is assuming presidency of the Security Council either. So, it seems a little out of place in a sense to make a bigger deal of this 1 month that's coming up than we have in the past. Yes, it's true that we are still in the midst of a global pandemic, and so that itself poses different challenges on national leaderships at the international level as well. And that really brings me to my first point, which is that the United Nations fundamentally, in its genesis, in its ethos, is a multilateral organization. Yes, there is a Security Council. India has been negotiating for many years now to become a permanent member of the Security Council. That itself is a process that sort of peaks and crests depending on who's listening, who's not, which alliances are working or not. But the spirit of multilateralism is something that needs to be carried right through. So I take it. I take the point that when India is in the Security Council, when it's assuming presidency of the Security Council, it has the opportunity to put its own interests front and center. But I think what I would really sort of rate India's presidency on would be its ability to actually step back from its own interests and put the interests of the United Nations in a multilateral sense front and center. So this is just and sort of, this is my personal opinion, of course. The fact is that when it comes to multilateral efforts on public health or on the vaccine diplomacy that we've been seeing, for example, what role can India play? Can it, when in a sense that within the country we are grappling with regulatory frameworks on emergency use vaccines, how will we guide those conversations globally? I think there is a question about developing countries receiving a large volume in order to vaccinate their populations. How will we cross those hurdles, including India being in that same space? But if we ourselves domestically have regulatory frameworks, how do we carry those negotiations on a multilateral stage? There are contradictions over there. I mean, I keep saying that a lot of diplomacy is actually just human psychology. So how do we manage those contradictions? I think would be an important question. The second, I think Ms. Sharma made very, very important points about not just security and peacekeeping and counterterrorism being the focus of the United Nations Security Council mandate, but also overseeing sustainable development goals and things like that. So what is our track record on delivering on SDGs? How much further do we have to go? I think those conversations are important for sure. But I come back to the fact that the ethos of the UN, not only in terms of working together and global cooperation, was also about states keeping the interests of their citizens in mind, right? And how, I mean, there's a Charter of Human Rights which India helped draft at the United Nations as well. So, how committed are we to having honest conversations about human rights? How committed are we to having honest conversations about what the principles of human rights are and should be constitutional values across countries? Are we interested in actually looking at the Human Rights Charter and its implementation across the UN membership body? Are we willing to make strong statements where we see rights being violated? Typically, India follows a policy of non-interference, in the matters of most countries, except maybe a few in the region, when Ambassador Puri will back me up, where we feel we have our own strategic interests at play. But the fact is, our problem with the United Nations Security Council all these years has fundamentally been that it's a club, and it's a club of these five countries where every non-permanent member is given uh, the sense of importance because they have a 2-year term as part of the larger Security Council. But ultimately, when it comes to decision making, when it comes to directing global policy, it's these five that lead the way. And if we are going to also aspire to be part of the same five and the clique that leads the way, how do we then bring in wider conversations? We can talk about the hypocrisy of the West. We can talk about the hypocrisy of Security Council members, whether it is the US or China or Russia, whoever. You can have the conversations about their hypocrisy. But my concern is, can we afford to be hypocritical as well when it comes to the Security Council? And I think we need to be conscious that, we are a country which prides itself on its democratic credentials. We are one of the few countries in the developing world that has a robust electoral democracy. And we are in a position to have a parliamentary system that is supposed to engage on a feedback loop with its citizens as well. Can we actually promote those values? Can we talk about the bigger issues that are challenging the world today? I mean, we're talking about democracies being in retreat across the world, even in the West, where you have a kind of politics that is flooding our geopolitical landscape, which is being driven by hypernationalism. It is being driven by economic grievance. It is being driven by individual national self-interest. The United Nations is not about individual national self-interest. It is about global interest. So are we going to be in a position to actually put our individual national self-interest aside and work in the global interest? I'm just going to, those are questions and concerns. I'm going to leave it at that.